Experiencing a holiday shortly after losing a loved one can be extremely difficult. All these three guests here with us tonight have gone through loss, and now you guys are on the road to healing. How has tragedy affected your current relationships, and what did you do to make sure that those relationships remained okay?
It does change the dynamics a little bit. I think you have to give yourself time, and sometimes you have to establish a new place, whether it's with family members. Hopefully that you give yourself time. The expectation can't be very high that I'm going to go back to being normal, because there is a different normal, and that doesn't mean that you stay in a very sad place, but there's a different normal. So it does affect the relationships, and sometimes you just have to give yourself space in some relationships. You have to give yourself space until you become stronger. They can somewhat interact with you in hopefully a respectful and sensitive manner, and sometimes that does not happen, but as you get stronger and heal, you can interact with them, and you can move forward in that relationship.
One of the cases that was really hard for us journalists was there was a case out of Kentucky. Gabby Doolin, a little girl, was murdered, and the newsroom recently found out, the parents who we have been interviewing, for years, that they decided to split up. And our heart it breaks, because we know everything they've gone through, because everything's been on the news. And when relationships maybe do end after tragedy, how can people move forward after that too?
Good question. I wanted to address something. There was a thought that divorces were high with parents that lost children. CCF did a study a few years ago, and it's no different. It's about the same as the general population. And I think those that do split up, I don't know about that particular case, but usually it's from one parent blaming the other parent for the child's death.
The pain is just so intense.
Right.
The pain is so intense, it's hard to look at one another, and if one shuts down, and lo and behold, both shut down, but if you shut down and it's hard to talk about it, and you don't get the help or seek out resources, and that's easy to do, it's just that I can't deal with this anymore. And I'm not speaking specifically to that case, but it's very hard. And I had mentioned earlier in the programming that a chaplain looked me in the eye and just said, "How is your marriage?" And I'm sure he had some experience and wisdom in that area, but that's very hard. The relationships do change, and you've got to fight for those relationships. Sometimes you've got to fight for your own sanity, your own health, and even for your own smile. It's hard to find, will I find my smile? Will I find my laughter? But that's a road. You have to fight for that. And when you get it, you can't back down. I worked very hard to find this place to be able to smile, to be able to laugh, to be able to find some sense of myself again. And I know that we all have, but it's very difficult to lose, especially a child, in such circumstances. It takes a toll on your heart.
Hold that thought. We will go back to just final coping mechanisms right after this break.